Alright, what is up, YouTube? It's Timeboard7 here with another live stream.
It is absolutely important that you're in that channel.
We should be live. Let me go check and see if we are live. It's retrieving the content right now. We should be starting live here pretty shortly. And
On this side, Iron Boar, I do not believe you have a rank, or do you?
Is this good?
I do.
Yep. Get over here, Iron Boar. Over here. You're on the wrong side. There we go. Alright, everybody, close the gap. Close the gap. Nice and even. Nice and perfect. Rocky, shift over. Rain, shift over. There should be just a little bit of room between us. Alright, thank you very much for being here today. This is an introduction to policing as per the South Carolina State Police Post. What is Post? The Police Officer Standards. It's an act. Most important things as it starts. What's important? Uniform. John Smith, you ranked?
No, I'm gonna apply after this.
Okay, Marshall as well, this side please. Join the black and whites on this side. I call them black and whites because they have white stripes on their pants, just so we're clear.
It's
We got our tan
duty.
and... Yep. Make sure you guys are on duty. Make sure you guys have your equipment as issued to you. We're gonna go over this. Now this is important, pay attention. Look to the person to your right and to your left. The first thing you notice beside you is a properly uniformed policeman. Why is that important? Because when you're out there doing stuff, you expect to see this person upholding themselves in a reasonable manner in which a police officer would.
Excuse me.
One of those things, once again, if you have something to speak, please say PTS. Just type PTS and we'll get to you when we get to you. No wasting of time. Smooth, go ahead.
I haven't played on this server. I haven't played police on this server for a while, and how do I go on duty?
Can someone help
You
this
are on
individual?
duty.
/ on duty.
/ on duty. What does on duty do? It gives you your equipment, your ability to cuff, and all that good stuff. How do you cuff somebody? We're going to use me as an example. Now, can you go ahead and go on your arrow keys and hold the up arrow key? You're going to notice a whole bunch of numbers and names. Very simple stuff. Anybody here don't see those numbers and names? Good. This means those are the numbers, those are IDs. What you do is this. Cuff with the ID number. When you're beside them, and it'll cuff them. Do it again, and it'll uncuff them. Simply put, that's how this works. Go ahead, John Smith.
I demonstrate.
If you're uncertain of how to use it, just make sure I am uncuffed when we're done.
Oh, okay, it works. Is it like distance based or?
Yes, it is somewhat distance-based. If you're not close enough to the individual you're trying to type out, it may not work. Smooth, go ahead.
Wait, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
What happened if you can't see the number?
If you can't see the number, you need to ask somebody else. The first thing you have to know about your job is you got to get it done with whatever reasonable tools that you can find. See these individuals to your left and to your right? They are part of your kit. They are your team. If you're not using your team, you're not thinking hard enough, because you should expect at least the chance to ask for help if you need it. And these individuals here will offer to you if you need it, and they can. Okay? So once again, to your right and to your left, you see uniformed police officers. That's important here. Remember that. Because when I am running through a dark alley chasing after some nude person hauling a bag full of crack, when I see a police officer, I expect to see somebody in a proper uniform. I expect to see them carrying the proper equipment. Because if I see a guy with all these ranks on his arms that don't make sense, if I see a guy with equipment on him that he shouldn't have, we've got a problem. And now we have a safety issue. If I go running down an alley with an AK, how many of you think I'm a cop? Good answer.
Abuse.
None of you. None of you. Okay? So once again, use the equipment given to you. What is that equipment? It is either the M9 FS Beretta or the combat pistol, as it is called, referred to the APS. This here is your taser, otherwise known as a CEW, conductive energy weapon. These are your two primary handheld utilities which are less lethal. Okay? Your gun, this pistol, do not discharge your firearms whatsoever, please and thank you. No discharge. So it's important to note that this item here and any of your items may bear a flashlight. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stick a flashlight on there now, just because I can. And I'm going to do this before I head out every day, because there's no point in putting in a flashlight in the middle of a chase. That just means you're unprepared, and that means you're an asshole. There we go, my flashlight's on there, it works, we're good to go. Alright, we're going to do some questions. Smith, go ahead.
How do you command the fire?
Aim and press E. I would refrain from aiming at anybody while you do it, though. Okay, next is the equipment on your weapons. Important. Oh, look at this. No, now here's an example of how to fail. Dark Hunter, will you please step up in front of here, in front of everybody? This is good. This is very good. You make mistakes here, not anywhere else. This is where you make your mistakes. Now show everybody your handgun. Alright? No, don't aim at them. What is the problem with this weapon? Anslow, can you tell me what it is?
I know.
I got a longer magazine than you should have.
Bingo, he's out of uniform. Oh, did I just say that? He's out of uniform. He's not using the standard equipment. If you're out of uniform, you're probably not on duty. Remember, this is a lesson, Hunter. That's a risk that you take by doing that. As someone misidentifies you as the shooter and shoots you instead. Okay? So take that out, and please fall back in line. Thanks for coming up here with us. Seems useful, but it's risky to carry unauthorized equipment. It can put you at risk, because in the heat of the moment, you have less than 2 seconds to decide what you're going to do. And when you're playing with guns, you're playing with fire. Someone's going to get hurt if you're not handling them. So be responsible with your equipment, and know that you should stay within the limits. Now, we're going to go ahead and take a couple questions. Smooth, go ahead.
I saw someone with this gun with like all the equipment on, standing here. I don't know who
Okay,
it is.
now, here's the thing. You shouldn't have extended mags on your rifles. We don't issue those. So you can have a scope on your carbine, that's okay. You can have a grip on your carbine, that's okay. You may have a flashlight on your carbine, that's okay. You may not make it purple, you may not put sparkles, you may not put stickers. You will not do strange things with your patrol carbine. Otherwise, you can expect to be what? Out of uniform.
Banned.
Misidentified. Perfect. Well spoken. You know, that's one of the more important things is, once again, what is in uniform, using your equipment, the reasonable equipment issued to you, and staying within the expectations of a person in uniform while you're committing and performing public service. So we're going to take another question. Alex Brooks. Supervisor. Ask. The only exception you're going to find is here with state troopers. Us state troopers use a variety of different equipment. For example, I'm in SWAT. My primary combat weapon is a G36C. It is not your same patrol carbine. Mine is a G36C. My primary handgun is not the combat pistol. It's the Beretta FS. These are differences you're going to note. and some specialist units. They may have slightly different equipment. I'll demonstrate 1 second. Here's a state trooper's Beretta FS. You notice how it's not pink, it's not blue, it's not shiny, doesn't have an extended mag.
Hello,
This here is
sir.
expectable.
Hello.
It's expectable, but it's not usually considered in uniform. So, just keeping that in mind. Marshal, go up.
How do you become a state trooper?
You are invited.
I see.
Is this like the RP
Okay.
server now?
Sorry.
Okay, so back to where we were. Okay, I think we've done enough uniform. Let's go over your equipment really quickly. Actually, we're going to do this inside. Everybody, we are going to face right. Everybody turn face right. Answer your questions on the inside. Alright, we're going to start with Alex. Let's go. Follow me.
Or
You should see a bunch of people walking.
Halt. 1 sec.
Marshall, can you take it easy? Marshall.
You're lagging.
Left, 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 right, left. Okay, no one cannot tell me that that was not funny. Left, 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 right, left.
Please stop talking.
Where the fuck? How did you come there?
pretty sure it said just stay in a line.
Left, 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 right, left. I don't know what I've been told.
PTS is still active.
Even in game chat.
How do I get down?
This is a lot of people. 1, 2, 3. I think we have more people than that, but I'm not sure. Oh.
Go ahead and double or triple up. Pick a desk.
Help. How do I get down?
Hang on 1 sec.
Yes, I did.
Once again, PTS is active. Now, rule number 1, no trolling. Rule number 2, if you do not PTS, you do not speak. Number 3, if we waste our time, you're out of here. Period. For the day. That's it. No discussion, no dispute. That's how it works right now. Right here. We're going to have questions. Once again, Smith was first, so Smith, what's your question?
I apply after this. How long do I have to be?
Go ahead and apply on the forums. It's in the top right corner of the TeamSpeak. Take your time with it. Being here is not compulsory. You may leave at any time. Smooth. Go ahead.
I'm still up on the ground. How do I get down?
I can't help you with that. You entered through the front door, did you not?
No, nothing is here.
Alright, I'm sorry, but you cannot be included in this training. Please try again another day when you've installed the appropriate mods.
Wait, what mods?
I'm sorry, but rule number 3, unfortunately this is a waste of our time. Please leave.
Rip. Wah, 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 wah.
Andrew, go ahead.
Is it normal to take 2 weeks for an interview?
It can happen.
Okay.
We've had some changes in the command structure, and the individuals who usually do them have not been around very often, so that's basically that. Give me 1 sec.
No, don't go into that mode. Right now, he's just kicking people. Ooh, that's something they never see. They were banned from the server.
Alright, where was I? So, here we begin. Introduction to policing and how it works. We're going to go over a brief structure of the department to understand exactly how this all comes together and what it means. People see every day, there are all these ranks, there's all these people that do different things, but exactly how does it work? It's actually not that hard when you understand a few key, simple things. In the next 5 minutes, I'll explain what those things are. Let's start from the bottom, where we are. Service members. They provide the bulk of the department, and their job is to respond to calls, resolve situations, and maintain public order and safety. That is your number 1 job. Remember,
How's the audio
every
doing?
single
Can you
day,
hear everyone
put
okay?
that on. Public, safety, and order. That's your job. It's not to hand out tickets, it's to maintain public safety and order. It's not to go and arrest people, it's to maintain public safety and order. That is the key thing that you do. That's the service you provide. The majority of the department is serving members, for the pure reason that you are serving the majority of the calls, the majority of the complaints, and such and so forth. As you move to the ranks, you'll see a variety of reasons why people have these ranks. For example, ranks are responsibilities. They're not given to you just because you're here. They're given to you because you perform a specific task. Schools have teachers, headmasters, vice principals, principals, janitors, and other faculty. Administrative staff to help manage them. Sometimes even a nurse. These again are just like our rank system. Each of the ranks has a different responsibility. Just because they're numbered and tiered does not mean one is higher than the other necessarily at all points in time. I'll explain why that is. When you're in training, you're essentially made a peace officer for purposes of training and assertion, to bring you into the fold, to help you experience what it's like, to see if you're cut out for it or not. Once you pass your interviews, your oral board, once you've gone through your psych and other important things, you'll be given an inclusion. That inclusion allows you to be trained. The interview determines whether you can be trained or not. The training determines whether you can be accepted or not. And once you are accepted beyond your training, you are now a full-fledged member. But some conditions apply. As a deputy sheriff 1, your job is to sediment those things you've learned in training. It is to build up your knowledge base of important things, to contribute on a daily basis, and once again, work on your basics. A Deputy Sheriff 2's job is to deal with more advanced things, just a little bit more. The unorthodox calls. They have been vetted. Your training is complete. You have now absorbed that training, and now we're in an appropriate work ethic with that training. So now that additional trust means that you are learning more advanced things. First, you learn about what are laws, acts, and statutes, all these kinds of things. In Deputy Sheriff 2, you begin to learn things like how do I deal with self-harm, how do I handle these arrest cases, what are these charges like, and what are they for. Deputy Sheriff 3's job is very simple, to make very few mistakes. That is the definition of a Deputy Sheriff 3, makes very few mistakes. Deputy Sheriff 4 makes very few mistakes and they conduct themselves properly at all times. And a senior deputy is an individual, once again within the member service ranks, whose job is to know what it means to be a veteran member. They have proven this by consistently upholding their ethic, by being responsible, by helping the team, and by being a prime don't spawn props. By being a prime example of what it means to be a service member. That's what a senior is. They are the primest service member that you have. Before a supervisor, they're your lead. They're there to help you, and they usually will know how to handle a situation. They're made a senior for a reason. Okay?
Alright, let me try and fix that real quick.
Supervisor whose job is to oversee those below them in rank and stature for the purpose of effective organization. They are essentially your secretary. They are kind of like your is to disable any conduct which, no you don't, put that away, is to disable any conduct which shouldn't be happening because it's extreme, unreasonable, or damaging. So Corporal's job isn't to come around and say, I don't like what you're doing. Their job is to say, you can't do that. You cannot do that, and I'm going to stop you from doing that. Otherwise, it's going to be to, how can I help you? What can I do for you? What do you need? That is Corporal's job. Okay? Junior supervisor. A sergeant is a general supervisor. They have the power to suspend people. They have the power to move people around duties, to assign them to special
hopefully
duties,
you can
to
hear
moderate their...
him better now.
You
I
can say, yeah, you can
tried
ride
and
this for
fixed
now.
it a little
But a
bit.
sergeant can say, you can't use that for a day. So
no,
corporal
that's-
stuff can happen immediately, but a sergeant stuff is much longer term. They generally do the same thing, except sergeants have a much... Okay. Sniper, please disconnect. This is a police training, sir. Thank you.
You can hear much better now? No, don't time out.
Okay, where were we? So, we went over the ranks. Hang on. Yeah, try not to press the R key if you have that binded as melee. Not recommended. Okay, so where were we? I went up to the ranks to sergeant. Now we're going to go a little bit higher, and I'll be very short with it. Very to the point. So, we've been up to, senior, we went to corporal, to sergeant. What is first sergeant? First sergeant is simply the head of supervision. Now we're going into management ranks. Lieutenants, captains, majors. These individuals are operations staff. Their job is to focus on specific peculiarities about the department, hone on them, and regulate them. For example, a person of the rank corporal and above can lead a division, but typically it is lieutenants, captains, and majors that run these divisions. For example, as a major, I was in charge of general operations and tactical, which means I'm in charge of day-to-day things that happen in the flesh as they happen. I was in charge of tactical affairs. That was my job as a major. We had a captain whose job was middle, whose job was to make sure that the supervisory staff were getting the support they need from high command. Okay? And you'll have people as lieutenants and captains who have zone control. Captain in charge of north, captain in charge of south, captain in charge of this, lieutenant in charge of that. Very simply put. That's basically how it works. So, a lieutenant is an adjutant of operations. They receive instructions and complete them. A captain is a general officer of operations, and the major is the head of operations. Aside from that, now you're entering high command. Now you've got your chief deputies, your assistant, your undersheriff, and your sheriff. Now, here's the confusion. The sheriff and undersheriff are one item together. It's like a president and vice president. When the president's not in the house, the vice president has the seat. Kind of like on Star Trek when they hand the con off to the executive officer. Same thing. They're a key. They're one in a bundle. If the sheriff isn't around, the undersheriff can make decisions for them until they get back. Both of them can make decisions too. But the point is that the undersheriff has the same authority as the sheriff when the sheriff isn't around. But the sheriff can overrule them whenever it comes down to it. The assistant sheriff is essentially the secretary of high command, and the chief deputies are responsible for executing their instructions. So think about it as like a computer. You have the CPU and you have
Alright,
the
did
hard
you see
drive,
me change my
which is the
clothes there?
assistant sheriff, the undersheriff, and the
I
sheriff.
need to know if
And they
it's
send
delayed any or
orders
not.
that
I
need to be
can't tell.
completed. The chief deputies accept those orders, and there's different types. Revolutionary orders, cyclical orders, which repeat every single day. For example, making
Hello.
sure people get briefings 2 to 3 times. And then they'll send it to a chief deputy. The chief deputy will pick someone in the staff, corporal and above, to execute that order. And when the order is done, they will send it back to the chief deputy. It's complete. The chief deputy will report
That's
to
what
the
it should
sheriff
say.
and say it's complete. Just like that, the cycle is complete. The order has been executed, and this way the place every day at a specific time, or every so often. This order will be cyclically completed. Okay? Does that make any sense to? Does that make sense to everybody here? We're going to go over some questions very quickly. First, we had John Smith. Go ahead.
You know, how long is this going to?
Monk.
Fixed. So Smith, what was it again?
How long is this training?
We'll be here for quite a while. Leave at your leisure. We'll be here for another 45 minutes in this room. Then we're going over to the training ground, and we're going to do some stuff in the cars with our guns and all that kind of crap.
I'll be here.
Alright, yep, he just got kicked. So, don't worry about him.
All right, next question, G-Man.
He left this out.
All right, any questions about ranks?
Yes,
so
I
that's
have
how
one
police
question.
department works. Go ahead.
What about vehicles?
We'll go over that. But this is essentially how the police department works. That's the structure. That's why the ranks are the ranks. That's what the ranks do. Shields, go ahead.
I'll still be here. I'll just be right back. I'm gonna grab my
Alright,
laptop so I
just
can
regarding
have chat up at the same
supervisors,
time
so
while
in
watching
the
the
case
stream.
of there isn't a, let's say a corporal or a sheriff on or a captain on, who would be appointed as a supervisor if one requests one? Would it be the highest ranking on or?
Good
guy
question. They're all
is kind of an-
supervisors, whichever one wants to handle it. They just each have different ranks as supervisors.
Thanks.
There's a reason why we restrict corporals to these ranks. These are individuals who have enough training, tenure, and veterancy with the department to be reasonable with each other. We let people below corporal eventually do whatever they wanted at one point, and it was the highest rank to be the supervisor. Guess what happened? We had 2 people, Deputy Sheriff 2, claiming that the other guy needs to go off duty because I tell you so, because I'm the highest rank on, not you. We had them arguing with each other, and nobody was making sense, and people were being offended. So we said, nope, it's taken away. It's ours, not yours. So now supervisors or corporal and above have an issue, find one. Not there right now, that's okay. Take it to them later. They'll still deal with it. That's the glory behind it. So now back to vehicles. So someone had a question about vehicles. What was that?
What vehicles can the different ranked officers drive?
If you look in the TeamSpeak, you're going to see a picture in the description. That will tell you essentially which ranks may drive which vehicles.
I think on rank this black crane vehicle with.
Realize that only corporals and above may drive slick tops or undercover cars, and plainclothes is restricted. Go ahead, Cobra.
So the 2012 Charger, that's how that played now, correct?
Hey guys.
Once again, refer
can I
to the
talk to you?
picture. We're in training. Please do not disturb.
Alright, 10-4.
All right, Lucifer, go ahead.
If I want to drive a bike, a police bike, what rank do I need to be?
Once again, you better ask a supervisor about that one because you don't intrinsically have permission to drive it, right?
10-4.
Corporals have permission to do a lot of things.
Alright,
when
I'm
they're
still
connected,
here.
they enable you to do special things.
I'm still
Handle
here. I'm just getting my
unorthodox
laptop set up
equipment,
so I can watch
like
the stream
vehicles,
on my laptop.
weapons,
Well, not watch the
other
stream,
types
but
of
like
kit.
look at the chat on my
Corporals allow you to do a
laptop
lot of
while
things. When they're
watching the
connected
stream
and on, they are
while
your
streaming,
key
so
to
I don't have to
accessing
keep
a variety of equipment.
alt tabbing out of the
and your
game.
key to helping regulate
Because every time
things
I
that
alt tab
happen,
out of the game,
okay?
it closes out the game sound for some reason. I don't know why. It's just
After
how
Dark Hunter, we're
that's
going to have
just
no
how
more
it is.
questions for this part, and we're going to move on to the next section.
Awesome.
Lucifer, go ahead.
So we're getting ready to move into the next section, the more fun part.
Last call, Lucifer.
Oh, I didn't say anything.
All right, Shields, question?
Yesterday there was a full-on debate about this on who can drive a helicopter. I'm kind of tired of hearing it every day. Clarify that up.
Corporal and above. They determine who can or can't. Aviation is a specialty which is restricted. Typically, people can't just drive a helicopter because they feel like it. It's not on the vehicle uniform code, which means it requires special permission. Think about it that way. Hunter, last question.
Where can I find the picture of the cars?
There's no actual picture of the cars, but there is a picture that describes which ranks can drive the cars, and that is in the TeamSpeak description of the comms channel.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to take a quick 2-minute break, and we're going to resume finishing equipment, and we're going to move on to some legal stuff to give you a little bit of an extra insight on how this all works and what you actually do. Now you know the equipment, now you know the duty, now you know the ranks, now you know the department. Now let's go on to the job. So once again, 2 minutes, I'll be right back with you. I'll see you right here. Once again, no trolling, no bullshit, PTS is lifted until 2 minutes is up.
Alright, that was nice.
Can I show the cars today?
No shooting.
Can I show them the cars?
Damn, machine's broken.
Alright,
Machine broke.
Can you say that again?
Can I show the
Oh, that's cool.
I show them the cars.
I don't get what you're trying to say. Shooting people in
want to-
cars?
No, I want, like, they asked what cars they can drive. I can show them.
That's okay, it's up to them. They're responsible. I told them how to get it. It's right in front of them. They should be able to find it.
Come with me, guys.
No, don't leave the building. You have 1 minute and 30 seconds to get back here. Otherwise, you guys are going to miss out.
that's why I'm not leaving.
Basically, if you're unranked, you can only do police 7. That's what it Do you
Mm-hmm.
have says game on on the that? TeamSpeak.
Yeah, that's correct. If you're unranked, you can only do police 7 from what I've heard.
Pretty straightforward. It's not that hard.
With the police livery, not the sheriff. Because I've seen unranked driving with the sheriff livery.
Yeah, also last night I saw an
That
unranked
was-
member driving a Ford Explorer with the police delivery, and he just drove off and wouldn't listen to my commands.
Yo, Aaron, what's your stream? Do you stream on Twitch or YouTube?
YouTube.
Link it for me in TeamSpeak.
Once again, guys, this is a job for a corporal and above. You have no authority.
It would help if I could spell today. Really, Drew? You playing Red Faction? Is he watching my stream, though? That's all I'm
Shouldn't
asking.
be focusing on small things that are inconsequential. There are people there for that. This is why when I see someone driving those vehicles, I write down their name and I send it to the captain. The captain pulls them into his office and deals with the whole litany of them. My job is day-to-day operations. I have plenty of supervisors that are capable of going there and talking to them and saying, hey, you shouldn't be in that car. And they will do everything about it. If I have to pull someone out of a car, it's not going to be a happy moment because they're going to be riding with me.
He's kind of distracted right now. Drew, don't get distracted if you're going to watch my stream. Alright. Someone just got a cup of coffee. My hat! Somebody knocked my hat off! Somebody knocked my hat off! It's not fair! Someone knocked my hat off. Well, Drew, get undistracted right now. And someone knocked my hat off, but I put it back on.
Put that away before I take it away. Thank you. Okay, so we just learned about the department structure, your equipment. So, we're going to go over that RTO speech one last time before we move on topics, because we're out of time for basics. I see too many people behind this one desk. Split it up.
I don't smell that bad back here.
Okay, so where were we?
Oh. He's been playing all morning?
So basically, RTO means radio traffic only. It means it must relate to the job, or be job relevant. Even if it means I'm meeting up with somebody. It doesn't mean you talk about your pet rock collection. That's irrelevant. When things get light, sometimes people shoot the shit. That's okay when nothing is happening. But you need to be listening out for three things, no matter what. Number one is the word break. Anybody know what break means?
Everyone stop talking, something important's coming in.
Damn, Kryptonic got it. Bang. Perfect answer. Andrew?
I was gonna say the same thing.
Perfect. Perfect. Break means I need the air. Give me a sec. It's probably important. More important than your rock collection. Genius. Second thing. Priority. First person to say PTS, can you describe what priority means?
Dang it, they beat me to it.
Damn, Lucifer got it. What is it? What does priority mean?
It means that everyone needs to shut up and listen to me.
Nope. Priority means all non-urgent traffic will cease. Definition of it.
How's audio
Non-urgent
levels?
traffic or less important traffic? Shut up. Your 10-8s, 10-7s, traffic stops, lost dogs, and sob stories no longer matter. Irrelevant. Unless it's as important or more important, it will go into your pocket and sit until the priority is done. Okay? So, let's say you have a pursuit and then someone steals something. Guess what? A theft is as important as a pursuit. You try not to overchat people, but it's the truth. It's hard to use only one communications channel. Do I have any questions about that? Say so now.
Yeah.
Speak up.
What would be considered priority call? Like,
Priority means it's more important than whatever the hell else is currently going on. That's technically the definition of it. A priority could be I've got a lost dog, but I need the air for it because a dog could bite somebody. I mean, it's pretty vague. Priority only means there's a risk of harm. That's really all it means.
so would they usually be doing felony calls or?
Turn who up?
It can happen
Me
for a
or
variety
the
of
game?
reasons. It most typically happens during flights, assaults, robberies, burglaries, things of that nature. Risk calls, so I call them. Go ahead, Cobra.
When, regarding another priority call, when should you take a second priority call?
Typically, we only have one pursuit and one shootout at a time. We try and solve the one, then move on to the next. Also, pursuit priorities is something we need to work on.
So
as a
turn
group.
up the
It may
game
seem
sound.
confusing to you, but when we're done here, it will make a lot more sense. I'm sorry. We're going to move on sections. We're going to hold questions regarding that. That's it for now.
Okay. Hopefully that is better.
Fleeing to elude and felony evasion are two completely different charges with a similar intent. Similar. Okay? Fleeing to elude is a misdemeanor.
Alright, is that
felony
better?
evasion is a felony. What's the difference? Let's say someone is about to lose their gun. Next time I take it away. You know what, Michael? I'm taking away your gun. You're getting it back second period. Hand it over here. My bad. I was just checking up the trigger. I thought I had some jam on it, so I tried to remove it. No, you don't.
He almost took
Not
my
in this
ear
classroom. Okay,
punched
no
me
gun
in the
for
face.
you. Morgan, get over here with me. Hey, hold your tongues. Hey, I'll answer this one. Hang on.
Audio level's good.
Back to where we were. So, where was I? So, misdemeanor versus felonies. Hey, that's enough. Next time I see that, you guys are out.
John.
Why are you pointing at my face?
Calm it down, line back up.
John, pull out a weapon and put it away. It'll remove your phase. Yeah, give it a sec. Alright, good enough. Okay, so I just explained to you the difference between a misdemeanor and a felony that appear the same. So let's break it down. There are laws, acts, and statutes. There are also ordinances. This is one of the most important things you will be taught by far in your entire live-long career. And I'm going to try and make it as simple and clustered as possible. This will not be an in-depth explanation. It'll provide you with sufficient basics to understand and comprehend what I'm trying to say and to give you the ability to look it up, to find out the little details for
Alright, if
yourself.
audio gets worse,
So
I
let's
need you
go
to let
back
me
to
know
it.
because I can't
Laws,
hear it.
acts, statutes, ordinances. Important. Very important stuff. Everybody's always talking about their rights. We often say you have the right to remain silent. Some people often say that I have the right to be here because it's public land. Chances are, if it infringes one of your constitutional rights, it is against the law. Think about it that way. Laws are things that protect your rights to
Okay, I don't know what
own
just happened
property, to reasonably own that property, and be free of people taking
there.
it.
That chair behind me is
To
bugging
keep
me.
people off of your private property, to be free of intrusion, to be,
Chair, get out of my way. There you go.
things of
Push
that
up into
nature.
that table.
A second here, I gotta. Sorry
Don't
for the
ask what I
interruption.
did to
So,
that chair.
once again, laws are generally things that infringe or affect your rights, like taking something, breaking into someone's property.
I just kind
There's
of
a
knocked
variety of
over that
reasons
chair
why
and
this
moved
happens.
it
It could
under
be
the
as simple
desk.
as recording a conversation inside a private residence while nobody knows you're recording. That's against the law too. That's privacy invasion. Okay. So we're going to break it down again. So laws are things like assaults. They're generally felonies. Almost every law infringement involves a felony.
Do you
at
see
some
what it
point.
did with the chair?
Just about all of them. Keep your guns in your pockets. I better not see them come out or I'm taking them away. Okay? I'll have a box full of them by the end of the night and you'll be going home looking at an empty holster putting donuts in it. Okay? So laws, acts, statutes. I'm not going to repeat myself again. Don't interrupt me. So laws are things that are typically felonies. Thefts, assaults, burglaries.
Yes, we're doing a training.
Narcotics, things that are of public safety concern. Remember, our number one job is public safety and order. So chances are, things that infringe a person's safety are also against the law. Those are the general key sentiments behind what are laws, what are acts, what are statutes. Now, acts are enactments. They apply to specific people and certain situations. For example, the Traffic Act. You use this on a daily basis. When a person blows the speed or a stop sign, they're not breaking the law, per se. Chances are they could be contrived as yes, but the truth is, no. They are in violation of an article.
Whoa.
Inside an act. Acts are created by state, city, and federal authorities
That just fried
like
that
Congress,
computer.
like the state establishment, to regulate something. For example, with the Traffic Act, when you get your driver's license, they make you sign that piece of paper. That piece of paper says, I agree to the conditions within the Traffic Act and to be subject to the Traffic Act.
Well,
at all
that
costs
went well.
without recourse. That means when you get that driver's license in your hand, you are now applied to the Traffic Act. That act now applies to you. So let's say I get my driver's license and I'm on my bicycle and I break a slew of traffic rules. Guess what? You're getting traffic tickets because the Highway Traffic Act now applies to you. Just like, which is why cops like pulling over bicyclists. Do you have a driver's license?
As in right now?
No. Fuck out of here. A small example of how it works. Another example. Let's say little Johnny is experimenting and he stole Daddy's truck because he's a little bastard. And he drove it down to the church because there's a big open parking lot he can do donuts in. When you go ahead and get up to the individual, your presumption is that it's an unlawful vehicle. It's a stolen vehicle, or at least unauthorized to be in that vehicle. You can't give him tickets for speeding and blowing the light. Little Johnny's only 12, and he doesn't have a driver's license. So that gives you a brief idea of how acts apply. Other acts, Environmental Act, Controlled Drugs and Substance Acts, things of this nature. Okay, those are acts. They apply to specific people in specific situations, and they're by increasing the amount of protection. Driving is dangerous. It can get someone killed. Therefore, it's reasonable to regulate it.
There's a police
It's not
training
a law,
going on right now.
but driving without a license is. That's the catch.
But
the
that
criminal
computer
code
is fried.
has its ways. So now we've gone over laws, generally what
That's
kind
a
of
fried
laws
computer.
and how they are. Now we went over acts. Goodbye, whoever that is.
Bye, Felicia.
Okay, that's it. Remember, PTS is up. Please don't interrupt me. That's it.
Russian Unabomber.
Zip. This is considered priority. This training. My time, your time. Don't waste it. Might as well be here for 5 fucking hours, and you guys will lose an hour in bullshitry, and you'll hate yourself for it. So let's go back to it. Laws, acts, statutes. We covered the basis of what are laws, the basis of what are acts. What are some examples of laws and acts? like the Environmental Protection Act, the Traffic Act, Firearms Regulation Act, Fisheries Act. Good explanations. Now statutes. Isn't that like those big things in the park that shine at you and you don't know them because they're older than hell? No. Statutes define things. Like the statute of limitations says when and how you can charge somebody.
Oh, Pulse Point just said that there's
Statutes
a vegetation
define
fire.
things like, what does this wording mean? For example, the 11th, the constitutional right number 11, due process. Due process isn't defined, but there are tons of statutes in each different state which defines how it's regulated.
Bruh.
What is due process in California? What is due process in North Carolina? These change by state because each state has defined what it means. Because it goes like this. City, area, region, state.
3 or 4 hours later.
Then it goes
hello,
into
Stephen
interstate
Moran.
affairs.
Welcome to the stream.
Then
I don't know who
it goes
you are,
over
but
to
welcome.
federal
If
authority.
this is your first time, please go
Which means
subscribe
the
for
humble
more
township
amazing
has all the
content,
control over
vlogs,
what applies
and
in their town or
other
not.
stuff.
For example, the federal government says, well, the Drug Act now includes small amounts of cannabis. Colorado says, no, you know what?
Steve
We're going
and
to
I
write
are
up our
selling
own
the first
statute that
time.
says that
If
doesn't
you
apply here.
continue to
It's an
spam,
act.
you will
It's
be,
voluntary.
kicked
We're
from the
going to get rid of it
stream.
because we have the power to do that. And did. And the federal authority got
If you
pissed.
continue to
But the
spam
truth
the
is that
chat,
the
you will
federal
be
authority
kicked.
can overrule the local federal authority as long as it doesn't interfere with the Constitution. Let's not get into that. That's for the courts to deal with, not us. Our job is to simply determine, is there a violation? What is the violation? What course needs to be taken? So now knowing that statutes define things, give time frames for things, elaborate on them, give us depth. We have ordinances. Ordinances apply to local police departments and areas only. Ordinances are things like stoop and scoop.
Stephen, if
Your
you
dog
would
poops,
please go
you pick it
subscribe
up.
for more
There's no federal
daily
law
content,
for that. There's no law for that.
GT5,
It's biological matter.
daily vlogs,
Theoretically, I can
and
drop
other
an apple
stuff.
on the side of a road.
That would
It's
help
not
me a
littering,
lot,
because it's
and
biological
so yeah.
matter. Doesn't
Just
cover
make sure you
under
go
the
subscribe
Environmental
for daily
Protection
GT5
Act.
content, Black Ops
However,
3
if I put a
content,
pencil on the side of
daily
the road,
vlogs, and
that's a fine under the
other
EPA.
stuff.
Believe it or not. That's where the fine comes from for littering. The EPA, Environmental Protection Act. Okay? Simple as that. If it costs the city to regulate it, it's going to cost you to dump it. Okay? Just like that. Anyway, those are laws, acts, and statutes in a nutshell. Ordinances, a simple example of an ordinance, that's basically the 2 cents on the layers of jurisdiction and authority. Do I have any questions about that before I go any further? PTS now. If you have a question, speak up. Is there a charge you were confused about? Is there a situation where you weren't sure what to charge? Do you want a charge defined? Ask now. This is your chance to get clarity on these things. Cobra, speak up.
Alright, I don't know if you remember, but about a week ago we had an incident and the guy requested a traffic summons. Could you explain what that means?
Very simply put, when it comes to laws, acts, and statutes, officer discretion applies in certain situations. Just because a person is getting into a fight in the street doesn't mean I need to charge them with assault. I could. I don't need to. It's an option. I probably should, but it's an option. Generally, it's an option. If someone actually gets hurt, then it's not an option. Now they're going to jail. Disorderly conduct and assault. Both of them. Public fray, not okay. Think about it that way. But in the traffic summons, what is a traffic summons? So let's say I end up with an issue that I'm not sure what to do about. Say I think it's a violation, but I'm not sure it's a violation. The statute of limitations says I don't need to charge them that minute, but I got to charge them within 1 to 6 months. So I tell them, I'm going to send this to the prosecutor's office, and they will decide to charge you or not. I'm not sure what to do with it. I'm giving it to the court. Second way is, so I'm finding you in a violation. This is a fine, but some things you can't give them fines. They have to go to traffic court for it. For example, stunt driving, your ticket is to go to court and to appear before a judge. If you don't, you lose your license. Gone. But around here, we typically don't get that depth. South Carolina, once again, it's very, very, very confusing. at the very start anyway. So what is a traffic summons?
Have the Be Right Back slideshow. Please, let me do. Should. Should have the Be Right Back slide.
Charges. This is your court
I'll
date.
be right
Sign
back.
this. You're out of here. If I feel the person's being reasonable,
Is that a bet?
they've been cooperative, and they're going to show up for their court date, they have a job, they have a place to live, they have all those kinds of things, I don't have to jail somebody unnecessarily. It's up to me to determine whether I can release them on recognizance, which is essentially kind of like bail, but a police officer gives it in lieu of the court date. That's essentially what a traffic summons is. It's the same thing, but it's for a traffic offense. Instead of giving them a ticket or charging them for it, I've sent them to the judge to deal with the issue. And instead of dealing with directly. Smith, go ahead.
Where is the court and who's the
There are two courts, actually there are three courts you're going to be referred to from time to time. Blaine County Jurisdictional Court. That is inside the police station, right in the same building. Second establishment you're going to be referring to is the Los Angeles County Court of Jurisdiction, which is, give me a sec. Occupation Avenue. Then there is the state establishment, which is
Code 0. Alright, when does the action come? This is... It'll come in a minute. We're just going over some major... We're just going over a few things right now, but, it will come here pretty soon, but we broke something, so, that's what we're dealing with right now. Alright. Alright, wait, go ahead and stop recording here. So right now we've just broken a few things. The server, unfortunately... You're making pizza rolls? That is not fair. So, I'm gonna close that a minute and open this, and this is what FiveM shows, when I type in our server IP, which is that there. It says server cannot be found, make sure you've entered the correct address. That is the actual address for it, but unfortunately, as you see right here, 22 of 30, this bottom one that I'm hovering over is server 2. This bottom one here is server 2, and the ping is none. But on server 1 is up. I could go play on server 1 if I wanted to, but I don't see a need in doing that. So, we'll play on server 2 since that's the training server. But there's 22 people. I don't know why, but I have the largest collection of Swedish fish right now. It's not even funny. Awesome. Alright, we're going to play some music in the background here real quick, so, I'm going to just go ahead and get that started while we're getting the server restarted. And this music here I can actually play because it's not copyrighted. What do you mean by the music is messing up? Is it too loud, too quiet? Hey, it's the only non-copyrighted music. It's the only music I can play. I play any other music, I'll get a copyright strike. It'll change here in a minute, though. Is it back up again? Alright, that should fix it. I turned it down some. Is it still too loud? Okay. Nope, still down. Of course. How long till the server will be back up? Alright, then in that case... Alright, let me turn the music off that. Then in that case, I'm gonna go to server 1. Alright, then in that case, I'm gonna go to server 1 for a little bit. Oh, yay. Now we get to hear the annoying rules.
Welcome to Mayfair County. Let's go over a few rules. 1. You must apply to rank up as a law enforcement officer or EMS or fire. Anyone can be a cop. 2. No trolling or copying. 3. No racism, homophobia, or sexism. 4. No disrespecting other community members. 5. No random killing or arresting. 6. Abusing powers will not be tolerated. 7. You must roleplay seriously at all times. 8. No speed boosting vehicles. 9. Absolutely no advertising of any kind. 10. Do not spam the server with vehicles or assets. 11. All in-game laws will be based on South Carolina laws. 12. Permission is required to fly any type of aircraft. 13. Cops must be on TeamSpeak. 14. Fail RP is against the rules and common sense should be used to determine if something is fail RP or not. 15. The decision of something being fail RP or not is up to the highest ranking officers and staff members' discretion. 16. All on-duty add-ins are exempt from all roleplay rules. 17. Anyone causing drama will be banned. 18. No supercars allowed.
Did y'all say the server is back up? Hang on, I have to restart it. It crashed again. I'm just gonna go play on server 1 till it gets back up for a little bit. Oh, it is? Okay. Alright, so... Right now, I'm trying to get back in the server, but you're gonna like the server music when you hear it. You will like the server music once you hear it. So, basically, is what the server music is it's our, So the server music is the owner saying the rules. Just listen to it, it's really funny.
Welcome to Mayfair County. Let's go over a few rules. 1. You must apply to rank up as a law enforcement officer or EMS or fire. Anyone can be a cop. 2. No trolling or copying. 3. No racism, homophobia, or sexism. 4. No disrespecting other community members. 5. No random killing or arresting. 6. Abusing powers will not be tolerated. 7. You must roleplay seriously at all times. 8. No speed boosting vehicles. 9. Absolutely no advertising of any kind. 10. Do not spam the server with vehicles or assets. 11. All in-game laws will be based on South Carolina laws. 12. Permission is required to fly any type of aircraft. 13. Cops must be on TeamSpeak. 14. Fail RP is against the rules and common sense should be used to determine if something is fail RP or not. 15. The decision of something being fail RP or not is up to the highest ranking officers and staff members' discretion. 16. All on-duty admins are exempt from all roleplay rules. 17. Anyone causing drama will be banned. 18. No supercars allowed.
Best loading screen ever. Oh, really? Is the airport actually have an interior now? Alright. Alright, and now just let everything load in. While everything's loading in here, I'm gonna get my uniform on. Alright, apparently, from what I've seen on YouTube and stuff, it looks like there's a secret room in here. But I'm not sure. Where are we meeting at? Same place as where we were? No. You know what? I'm gonna drive there. I feel like driving today. It's gonna take a minute. There it goes. I was hoping it'd spawn it with the Mayfair livery, but it didn't. That actually exists? Hey, I need to let all my textures load in real quick. Anyone else having texture loss? Like, it takes a minute for my textures to load in. Close. Okay. Up to this road here.
I think there's enough for us for 2 per death right now.
Go up lights.
Did anybody else not see the sirens?
Holy lag spike. What DirectX is everyone running on? 10 or 11? Yeah.
Why do I hear a vacuum?
I'm running on 10. I'm running on 11
Being
and
very
mine's lagging, so I'm thinking about switching to 10.
You gonna keep holding my hand, Andrew?
Hey, you have a tech kid badge. Are you very techie?
Hey, look, me and Andrew are
Cute.
holding hands.
That's cute. Don't ask, don't tell, right?
Ha! Gay!
It's gonna. Come on. Come
Oh,
on.
go.
Come on. Come on.
Alright, there we go.
What?
Ooh, somebody's out there doing push-ups,
I know you want
trying to show off.
Yeah, you know, see how strong I am?
You can
You
go
ain't strong at
outside and
all.
jump
Bet
off
you
the
can't
roof.
do them one-handed though.
Probably not.
Boys. Hey, however many push-ups you can do with 2 hands, I can double.
But you see what I can do? I can fly.
Yeah, that's not real. There ain't no wizards allowed here.
I'm flying.
Hang on, let me catch up.
Good
Yeah,
time.
Hello.
What's your time zone?
Guy's back, so I was just looking out for him.
What's your time zone?
Ghost.
East or west?
Turn.
East or
okay.
west? I'm the
East Coast.
Pacific.
How are
Damn.
you like glitching around looking like you're playing
know.
Quidditch, Andrew?
Your legs must
He's
be
no
hurting
clipping up.
after that.
Yeah, you be fixing that air.
No. Yeah, y'all could zeroed.
Oh my.
Hang on. I gotta fix some things really quick. Alright, I gotta fix some things so quick. I had to drop down to DirectX 10 to see if that fixes the lag, so I'll be right back. Captain Morgan, I switched to, okay, the reason I had to disconnect is because I was getting major lag for some reason. I don't know why. So, I changed from DirectX 11 to 10 to see if that fixed it. Yeah, server 2 is the only one up. What'd you think of the intro song? Yeah, it was Video Killed the Radio Star, and then it changed to elevator music, and then he changed it to this now. SO301 to Captain Morgan. Is Brandon on TeamSpeak or no? I see him. Thank you. Captain Morgan, are you in game? Okay, because I was going to say we could do it in Sandy if you want to. Yeah, I didn't see that you were in here, so... Where is TeamSpeak doing that? There it goes. Drew's still playing Red Faction. You know what we should do, Captain Morgan? Once the price on Emerge NYC comes down, we should start a roleplay group on Emerge NYC. I didn't mean right now, but like I meant once it's fully out, like the full game is out. Yeah, but
Welcome to Mayfair County. Let's go over a few rules. 1. You must apply to rank up as a law enforcement officer or EMS or fire. Anyone can be a cop. 2. No trolling or cop baiting. 3. No racism, homophobia, or sexism. 4. No disrespecting other community members. 5. No random killing or arresting. 6. Abusing powers will not be tolerated. 7. You must roleplay seriously at all times. 8. No speed boosting vehicles. 9. Absolutely no advertising of any kind. 10. Do not spam the server with vehicles or assets. 11. All in-game laws will be based on South Carolina laws. 12. Permission is required to fly any type of aircraft. 13. Cops must be on TeamSpeak. 14. Fail RP is against the rules and common sense should be used to determine if something is fail RP or not. 15. The decision of something being fail RP or not is up to the highest ranking officers and staff members' discretion. 16. All on-duty admins are exempt from all roleplay rules. 17. Anyone causing drama will be banned. 18. No supercars allowed.
yeah, I can get people from TeamSpeak, but not the server. Good afternoon, Deputy Sheriff. The only thing I hate about the open interiors is it takes the interior out of Michael's house. And then you're just continuously following through the map. No. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream there, because my game is lagging really bad, so... I'll probably be streaming later tonight, though. SO301 code 0. Alright, I hope you enjoyed the stream, and I will see you guys later.